very much, Mr Bone. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. Also, thank and congratulate the member for Orkney and Shetland for bringing this important debate before us. Many of the points that I had down have been raised by the members, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet from my point of view and make 3 key points. One, just touch very lightly on the UK framework and some specifics on funding. Secondly, talk about the opportunities to do things differently. And thirdly, stress the importance of environment and infrastructure in the development of these UK frameworks. In my constituency of Oakland and South Perthshire, agricultural industries are a cornerstone. They're involved in land and environmental management, they create jobs and they help integrate the economies of the villages and towns that make up my constituency. And although the farmers have different, whether they're arable or livestock or dairy, they have different challenges in different parts of the country, there are some common challenges that are faced throughout the UK. Price pressures from retailers, international competition and the pressure on innovation and value. So it's important that when we develop these UK frameworks, we recognise the differences throughout the United Kingdom, but also make sure that, certainly as elected members, we're reaching through each part of the United Kingdom to recognise the common challenges faced in each of our constituencies and making sure we make policy that works for the entire United Kingdom. And specifically, when we talk about funding, as honourable friends on my side of the bench have already outlined, funding, quite rightly, should be implemented and decide how the spend is distributed should be devolved, as it is currently in its implementation. However, I think what is very important is that funding, whatever the UK body turns out to be, should be ring-fenced. So when Westminster is pushing money out to the devolved administrations around the United Kingdom, it should be ring-fenced and protected. So devolved administrations, who may be under some political pressure, do not shift funding from agricultural purposes into health, transport, or whatever might be the political pressure of the time, maybe even things like IT systems. I would also like to say on that point that when we devolve these different areas of funding and as some of the implementation already takes place, we still maximise the benefit of being one United Kingdom together. Again, there are central resources that exist in the central departments like DEFRA, such as IT systems, that perhaps the devolved administration should have more freer access to, because it could save money for those devolved administrations and actually help farmers in the recipients of payments and other administrative tasks. So my second point, Mr Bone, conscious of time, is the opportunity to do things differently. The Secretary of State did outline in his Oxford speech, has been already covered, is that we have a chance to develop our own policies, and these policies can be shaped by our collective interests. I couldn't agree more. This is an opportunity to really tackle the criticisms of the Common Agricultural Policy that, for anyone who studied politics or economics at Highers or A-levels, was being taught about the butter mountains and the inefficiencies of the systems from many, many years ago. This is our chance to actually address it. And we can create a bespoke policy for our industries, not any one political party. And finally, on the environment and infrastructure, we've already stressed the importance of the protection of the environment and the preservation of that environment. But I think it's important to remember that my constituency of Oakland and South Perthshire, those across Scotland and across the United Kingdom, they are not biscuit tin communities. They are active, working agricultural landscapes. And what I think we have to do is make sure we are educating people across the kingdom to make sure people understand the value of those agricultural industries that actually do help preserve, protect and progress the environment as a working, living landscape. Finally, I think this is a prime opportunity also for us to start redirecting payments towards more infrastructure. We've seen some of the reports on broadband over the last week, where rural parts of our country fall vastly behind that of urban parts. We have targets of 95% or reaching 100% under the devolved administration for superfast broadband. My constituencies are 83.3%. So I'd hope that when forming this policy, we look at not only direct payments, but also looking at how we can help regenerate some of our towns, villages, and make sure our rural economies are as connected as our cosmopolitan ones. So, Mr Bone, I said I'd try and be brief on those 3 points: the importance of a UK framework, making sure that we devolve the implementation so we can recognise the nuances, but also pull together for common resources where it will serve our constituents best, to really take note of the opportunity and grasp it with both hands to do something differently, and finally recognise the importance of the environment, but also the opportunity to invest in more infrastructure too. Thank you.